Hello! Hi, everybody! Welcome to Night Court with me, Brother Brewmeister JT. I'm glad you're all here. Court's in session. Doggone it. Oh, my goodness gracious. This week, so many ways in which need Night Court. So many. Look at everybody who's coming in. First off, before I forget, I do not want to forget, Amber C., thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that a lot. I don't see where the... Well, Amber, you gifted 5. It's not showing me who got them. That's weird. But also, Lady in Gray, you gifted 1. That went to Evil Queen. Ooh. And then Virginia, you gifted 1. Thank you very much. And Sore Throat got 1. Oh, man. Evil Queen and then Sore Throat. And then Virginia, you gifted another 1. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Robin Ray, also in the 13th, the cult. So much stuff happening. So much. Oh, good grief. Hello. Sorry I'm late, everybody. I was finishing up the last 5 quizzes that you guys sent in, and well, no, I am not Brandi. I know that's hard to believe. Nope, not at all. But I definitely I didn't expect all the movement in the top 40 whatever, so I ended up having to just type everything back out again. So thank you for turning in all that stuff. Yeah. So we got a lot to cover tonight. We're gonna do the top 5 as we typically do, and then we are going to move into the quiz, and then we are going to move right on into Joel. So it's Tennessee versus Joel Guy Jr. Boy, this is sure to be a doozy. Also, it's on YouTube now, so I can speed it up a little bit if the time comes and you ask. Before that, we were on a different channel, and I couldn't do that. So we will leave it at that. Julie, let me check. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Let's just check real fast. Yes, Julie, I did. I did indeed. I got yours. You were the last one. The last one. So yeah. Okay. So listen. The end of day court today was very emotional for a lot of folks. Primarily, obviously, Brandi. And so I just want to address this right off the bat. Both me, the mods, and the channel support Brandi wholeheartedly, 100%. There is no question. And if somebody feels that bad about themselves, I just feel bad, you know. You all can watch kind of near the end of the stream. There were some things that have been slung that should not have been slung. Brandi's a brick house. She puts up with a lot, and she has for over a year now, as we all know. But this one, not cool. That being said, and we'll leave it at this. Every single member of 13th Juror, myself, mods, bailiffs, everybody who works on this channel extremely hard, support Brandi 110%. We won't be reaching there's nothing you can do or say to somebody who feels that insecure that they have to speak that way about somebody and launch those things. I am not going to mention it because I really don't want to give them the time of day. Just like on my podcast, Active Shooter, where I don't name the shooter, this is a no notoriety pledge. And so I'm just not going to explain everything that has happened, and I don't really know much other than what Brandi said. So I know as much as you guys do. I appreciate all your hearts. So just let that happen. Just let that let that all sink in. I know I'm speaking. The folks that are here, I don't need to tell you this. You guys know this. But if anybody's watching after the fact, or if you're watching and you're lurking, and you might be part of the situation, I encourage you to rethink your position. And I encourage you to reprioritize what you think is important. Because if you think tearing down one of the most sensitive and internal and tough moments of somebody's life, if you think that tearing them down by saying something about that is a good idea, you might want to rethink. I don't know how you sleep at night. End of story. All right. So, I battled back and forth as to whether I wanted to actually address it. But I think it's important that I address it, and I also want to make sure that Brandi knows this, and I think you know this, but I want everybody to know that everybody here has Brandi's back. And that's uncalled for and inhumane. It's just inhuman. Um, yeah. Okay. Oh, phew, phew. So let's move on to jeez. StreamYard changed the way they've arranged things. It can only handle so much change. All right. That being said, let's go ahead and go straight on into the top 5, shall we? Thank you so much to those of you who hopped in early and were the top 5. We had a lot of new top 5s tonight. A lot of new folks. I object. You've got yourself a big old Game of Thrones throne. It doesn't look comfortable. It does come with a pillow, so you can sit on that. Minnesota Twin Mom is in the rocking chair. We got Lady in Gray in your beanbag. Aaron Patterson sitting on the pillows, which look very comfy. And Tash, you're just chilling out in that office chair, with your extinguisher. It just looks so much fun. It looks like so much fun. Yeah. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. It has been a crazy day, everybody. A crazy day. Congrats. You got the pillows. Yes, you've got the pillows. There are. Hold on, wait a second. I'm seeing a couple of things here. We've got. Oh, hold on. We got birthdays. We've got a couple of birthdays. I'm glad you said something, Elizabeth Miller. Number 1, happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to Not a Drama Llama and our very own Lisa Wilmot. Lisa's not feeling too great, but I'm gonna give one of these in her honor. Wilma! But it is all of your birthdays, and so that being said, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Elizabeth, Not a Drama Llama, and Lisa. Happy birthday to you. And Julie, too. Because I totally forgot Julie's birthday was over the weekend. So happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday. Oh, man. I I'm always amazed that folks are here, and then I'm even more amazed that you're here on a birthday. So I really appreciate it a lot. Um, a whole bunch. All the singing. I hope everybody sang with me. I felt it. So I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were like, "You don't understand. When you say something, I respond back, or I wave, or I talk to you, and you can't hear me." And I was like, "Well, I mean, but I feel it right here, and it's either indigestion or it's participation. It's one of the two." So I appreciate it. I do the same thing. I can't tell you how many times I've either shaken my head or agreed or whatnot to RA's stream, and Brandi as well. um, well, yes. Happy Hatch. I like that, PPC. Happy Hatch Day. Happy Hatch Day. It's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so let's go over the quiz, shall we? I think we shall. Let's do that. I think that's important. You're not wrong. It could be. It very well could be. All right. So on Friday we had our night court quiz party. And I think it went really well. A lot of you all did really well. So that was really, really cool. All right. So here we go, shall we? Remember, if you do want to participate, you can always participate. It doesn't matter how late or early. You have until the following Wednesday from the Friday show at 8:45 to submit your answers using a Google form that's available via our link tree. Quizzes are awarded points based on how many correct answers you submit, and at the end of each month, the monthly winner will be crowned and points will be reset. And at the end of the year, the 12 winners will face off in an epic trivia challenge. I just ordered the items that I am going to be sending to the winner. It's nothing massive or huge or intense, but hopefully you like it. It's a nice little you won. So those should be coming on Friday. I'm excited about that. All right. So this is where hold on. This is not right. This is not the order of slides that I want. We don't need to see this until the end. Sorry, everybody. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's try this again, shall we? Present. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, so the total points that were up for grabs this past week were 20. So a lot of stuff. A lot of points. This is why I say you can participate at any point, because you may indeed climb the charts. All right, here we go. So last week was Blockbuster week, so we did movie trivia. So the first question was, what was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? And the bonus was, when was the first movie theater opened within 10 years, and what were the early theaters called? There were two answers online. If you came within 10 years of either of those answers, which were close to each other, I gave you the points because there was one that said 1905, and there was one that said 1896 or 5, I think. So that's okay. Because I saw that if I see contradicting stuff, I usually will award the points for both because I don't it's only fair. All right, so first feature length animated movie ever released was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yes, I think that is indeed the way that he woke her up. At least that's a way to do it, considering he didn't have consent. All right, and the bonus, I put in here 1905, but there was another possibility, and they were called Nickelodeons. So Nickelodeon's not just for kids, at least not in the early 1900s. All right, next question. What movie released in 1927 marked the introduction of talkies, or rather the sound era of motion pictures? And then the bonus was, what film featured the first successful use of color? All right. So the answer is The Jazz Singer, which, by the way, I really had to find a reasonable picture of The Jazz Singer. There are a lot of pictures out there. That was not a very, nowadays wholesome movie. Uh, but hey. All right. So that was the main question's answer. And the bonus, Wizard of Oz. It was the Wizard of Oz. Where the where where the dog got paid more than some of the actors. Although if you're dog people, here we are. All right. The next one, in what 1976 movie does Robert De Niro say the famous line, "You talking to me?" And the bonus was, in what decade, within one decade on either side, was the world's earliest confirmed 3D film shown to an out-of-house audience? All right. The answer is Taxi Driver. I don't know why that showed up. Go away. Okay. The answer was Taxi Driver. And 1922 was the first 3D movie that was shown to an out-of-house crowd, which means that they were out of the house. They were in the theater, and it was called The Power of Love. You didn't have to say that. Some of you knew that. Yeah, 1922, which is wowzers. They did use those glasses, the red and blue ones. So, all right, next one. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? And the bonus was true or false. The code featured in the Matrix movies is actually made from sushi recipes. The first answer was Schindler's List. That was the first, which is a phenomenal film if you have not seen it. Even the first time I saw it when I was younger, I cried. And that other one was true. So the Matrix did indeed have these vertical lines here. They all kind of, some of them came from what did I say? What was the question? Sushi recipes. Can't even remember. All right. So, number 5, what is globally the highest grossing film of all time? And bonus, true or false, most of the animal noises you hear in the Avatar film are recycled dinosaur noises from Jurassic Park. Well, the highest grossing is Avatar. It was at one point Titanic, but it did not continue that way. And then your bonus was true. They pulled some of the sounds from the dinosaurs. I mean, why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Also, as I was going through this and I was going through the answers, somebody wrote in somebody contacted me and said, you put a lot of true. There's a lot of true. I think Shireen said that. And then somebody else had written in the answers, if I don't know it, usually it's true, so I'm just going to pick true from here on out. I was like, well, you're not exactly wrong. Well, in fairness, I said the first successful use of color. I would call The Wizard of Oz a successful use of color. A Trip to the Moon might have used color, but I don't know if I would use. I just think maybe it's a point of contention. So maybe I'll look back and see. It's true. I do put a lot of true. So that means now that you've pointed it out, I'm going to balance it out now. Yeah. All right, number 6. What color do Mean Girls wear on Wednesday? And bonus, what Saturday Night Live alum was one of the writers of the movie? Hint, they were in the film as well. Well, on Wednesdays, we wear pink, everybody. That went straight down the line. Everybody was just like pink, 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 pink. Objection. Listen, I will go back and look. If I have to award points across the board, I will. It's not out of the realm of things I've done in the past. All right. And then finally, it was Tina Fey. Tina Fey was the SNL alum that was in Mean Girls. Which, by the way, did you know Mean Girls was rated PG-13? I saw that the other day. I was surprised. I don't know why I was surprised. All right. Number 7, which musical based on Romeo and Juliet won an Oscar? This was another one that, like, straight down the line was like, I know this. This is simple. And then bonus, true or false, Buzz Lightyear, famous from the Toy Story franchise, was very nearly called Lunar Larry. Well, West Side Story is your answer. And the bonus is true. True. And boy, this week that graphic interchange format, however you want to say it, is accurate. All right, what is the name of the secret agency that polices aliens disguised as humans in the 1997 film starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? And then the bonus, true or false, Tim Burton directed Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. The first answer is Men in Black. Here come the Men in Black. All right. And false. Tim Burton didn't direct it. He wrote it, but they put his name at the top. Number 9, what animal does groundskeeper Carl fight against throughout the movie Caddyshack? And bonus, true or false, James Cameron was the actual artist behind the pencil drawing of Rose in the Titanic. Well, it was a gopher. And boy, he makes me happy. He kind of dances like I do. Yip, yip, yip. And then it was true. That was his hand that they recorded drawing Rose, and she was in a swimsuit when he was doing the drawing. So, true. That man done a lot of stuff. He's Renaissance if there ever was one. All right, number 10, true or false, there is a Starbucks cup in every Fight Club scene. Bonus, on the set of the film Scream, an actor was actually stabbed. Well, the first one's true. And the second one, according to Screen Rant, the prop umbrella Campbell was wielding had a retractable tip, and Ulrich had a protective vest under his shirt while they were filming the scene. Despite that, when Campbell went to stab him a second time, the umbrella missed the vest, stabbed him in the chest. There were some. It was a very. You're not kidding. It was a very James Cameron heavy quiz. I don't know how that happened. I don't know that. We need to record that. That's what I know. All right, so that indeed was true. There are some there's some different stories out there, so I had to find kind of a proof of everything. So here's where things were. Before beforehand. Love you. That is my whole internet wife. Just saying. So here's where we were before the quiz. And a lot of things moved around. Here we are after. So you can take a look at that. I do. Kathy, you're right. I do. Jam's in the house. I get the feeling you didn't like Jody. No, I'm kidding. Hey, as I say to everybody who comes, welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the party, pal. All right, so there's your stuff. Now the question is, what's on Friday? I did change you to on. I did indeed. You were on time. All right. So next week, what are we doing next week? Or next week? Geez, Friday. What are we doing Friday? Well, next topic's going to be guess that sound effect. So we are going to do 10 questions that are going to involve sound effects, and you're going to have to guess what that sound is. There are not going to be multiple choice. You're going to have to guess. I will also add bonus questions that are multiple choice. So we will be doing both. If you do have a question about the quiz, you're more than welcome to send me a message, and I will consider all appeals. So I'll consider all appeals. Thank you so much again for making the quiz so much fun. It's so much fun to look through your answers. Again, I'll be putting that quiz together for Friday. I'm really excited about it. Really psyched. Oh boy. Don't worry. I would be doing the same thing. No, don't. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, that idea is brilliant, and I want it to be around the time of the 10K sub party. I think it's more appropriate at that point, if that makes sense. Yeah, for real. Sound effects. For real. All right. So, I think now's the time to probably get into this trial. Yeah? Before we get into the trial, and if you're just joining us now, I'm going to go ahead and play a quick video I put together for Tennessee v. Joel Guy Jr., just to give an idea of what you're in for. So here we go. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope. Hold on. Before we do that, hey! Hi!
Hi. I still got my verdict brows on, y'all. Still got my verdict brows on. One brow for each verdict watch. Right here.
How long does it take to get those off when you do take them off? Or do you like use something?
Well, it takes 2 nights sleep and a wet rag. And the sleep handles a lot of it. And then the wet rag handles whatever it don't. But see, the problem is when I have to try to wash off whatever's left with the wet rag, then I'm like, well, hell, the whatever's left up there is I'm scrubbing it out and damaging those follicles. So I try to just let sleep handle it all on its own. But then I'll have like these patches of like really dark hair. It's like, hey you, and like I have like just.
That's
random.
Like that's like the thing, right? Where you just have to you just shave a line in your eyebrows, right? So it kind of looks like you've got the cool thing going. It's what the cool kids are doing.
Yeah. What's great is when like just one half of one is missing. So it's like in like it. What's that? Cara Delevingne or whatever, and then Pamela Anderson. That's when I love. That's when those are my favorite. That's when I'm.
You just look permanently inquisitive.
Lucy. Yes. Morse code. I'm sending a signal.
Listen, if you were ever picked up and taken, you could just create the Morse code for SOS. We'd have to.
It's true. Funny. Yeah, it could work.
Oh God. Kelly says
JT, I have a question.
And Vaseline will make them slide. Yes.
Oh, that's what I need to do then, because I can't scrub them too much. I can't damage what little hair I have left up there, because it's already I don't have a whole lot anyway. I'm not a hairy individual, and so I don't have a whole lot anyway. And then what I have is blonde, so it's like I need all the brows I can savor right here. Savor's not the right word. Save, just save, rescue, whatever. Save. Conserve. JT, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever gone coleslaw wrestling at a biker bar? Of course, you have to think about it.
No, I can't say that I have. And if I have, it would have been, nope, sure haven't.
Nope, sure haven't. So I want to tell y'all something that when it came up, we have in day court, we have a lot of fun. It's not quite the same type of fun as night court. It's, but we do have a giggle. And one of our members yesterday mentioned that this one time at a biker bar, she did some coleslaw wrestling. So today we were talking about, I brought it up because how does one forget coleslaw wrestling at a biker bar, right? So today we brought it up and we were talking about stuff that like just the weirdest thing that we've done, and so I have to ask, because we were talking about this, what's the most random thing? Because you know why I have to ask you, because all this weird stuff is coming in, like, oh yeah, I like rode a dirt bike naked through a cornfield and stuff like that. So all these things are coming in. I'm like, I bet JT's is weird. So I gotta know. I want to hear it.
What, the weirdest thing that I've done?
Just the most random weird thing that you've done, other than reading Chad Daybell's novel in a wig on WTF on Sunday nights.
That's my answer. That's the weirdest thing I've ever done. Honestly, I come off as a really weird dude, but I'm pretty tame.
Honey, I've seen you do them splits in your mascot getup. You ain't tame.
The fact that I even like mascotting is probably one of the weirder things. Skydiving isn't really
JT's
weird. I really can't. I don't have any. I can't even think of anything to take the 5th on.
That's so
I
funny. We
really
had
have
some
to
people
think
that were
about that.
on. We had some people that were on Judge Judy. We had somebody who lost their engagement ring 40 years ago, like mud wrestling in a pasture. Why we got more wrestlers? You know why? Because of you. That's your demographic. You like the wrestling.
That's my
and
demographic.
That's your demographic is the wrestlers. You bring them to us, and you talk about it on stream.
Here's the weirdest thing that I've ever done, at least recently. I let my 7-year-old son crowd surf at a pop punk show. That is a weird thing. It's certainly one of the most daring things that I've done, primarily because I didn't want Mrs. Bruce Crime to kill me. I can't think of anything personally that I wouldn't have to plead the 5th on.
Mrs. Brewmeister would tell us. Mrs. Brewmeister would tell us the truth. She'd be like, "Y'all, let me tell y'all what he did." She'd be like,
"No,
JT,
this was pre Mrs.
Let me tell y'all."
This is pre Mrs. Brewmeister. So I will plead the 5th until I can't no longer, and I will say the 7-year-old crowd surfing.
until the pictures pop up from the internets and they come around and then you're gonna have to be like, "Oh yeah, well, this one time, yeah, I coleslaw wrestled at a biker bar." So funny.
No,
so funny.
Never did it. The weirdest thing that I ever considered was becoming a ref for pro wrestling. I was very nearly doing it, and then the guy who I would have trained under ended up going to WWE to be a ref, so that didn't happen. But that would have been fun. That would have been fun. Yes, and that's the other weird thing. Patricia mentioned it. I this is what I do now. I cross stitch.
Oh, that's cool. I know how to crochet.
What I do. See, I can't crochet to save my life. Mrs. Bruce Crime can do it. I can only cross stitch. But it gives me no go-go dancing.
I could totally see you as a go-go dancer. I could totally see that.
I mean, it would be fun. I would love to say that I've done drag, but there's just not enough time in the day. I do a lot of karaoke at gay bars, but that's my demographic, so it works.
Karaoke at gay bars is the best. It's so much fun. And drag show brunches with bottomless mimosas. One of the best times you could ever have in your life. I started crocheting when I was like, when I was I say older, like not like normally people are like when I was older, when I was like 70. No, like not like this isn't like something that I started in my 70s or 80s as in older. I mean older as in like 20. It's so bad.
Right.
I felt like but keep in mind I had Jacob Young, so I turned into an old lady very young. Like I was like fun time was over. I had a youngin when I was, right before my 21st birthday. So I started, so it was when he was a baby. So it would have been when I was about 21. But I started doing it and I was like, oh, this is fun. I was terrible at it. But I was like, I would make like a scarf and I'd be like, I don't know what it uses as a coaster, a oven. I don't know. It's just, here's some yarn in a discombobulated pattern. Go with it. I did get better over time. But when I would do it to relieve stress, I did a terrible job. And here's why. When I'm just, happy and whatever, then it's fine. But then when I'm stressed, I'm doing it like this. And then like it gets tighter. So then all of a sudden it's like this blanket and then this blanket. Like, it's like the knots or whatever they're called, would get smaller. So I don't stress crochet. I don't recommend it. You lose a lot of yarn and time and patience.
I primarily cross stitch to forget briefly, but then also to work on focus.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of more interested in Chunk of Bacon, who got her jaw broken playing softball in prison in Kansas. I knew that Shunko was in prison, but I'm now interested what time and where, because around the time of 99 to 2001, I lived on Fort Leavenworth base in Kansas. And so I'm wondering if you were down the road.
Oh, dang. Broke your jaw at a prison in Kansas. Wow.
Yeah. Good night. Virginia Little, thank you so much for gifting a membership. And Sewing Mama, look, appropriate. Sewing Mama got that membership.
Oh, that's awesome. Everybody was gifted memberships today, and poor Chunk of Bacon. We felt so bad because Chunk of Bacon can't get a gifted membership, but like, you know, but everybody was so generous today. It was a very giving day. It was awesome. So.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Leavenworth is federal. That's where Leavenworth's where Mike Vick went. Correct. Yeah. I wish I could like capture how much the conversation in our Discord for mods was like, why can't Chunk of Bacon get a? I don't understand why she can't get a member. It must be the whole like branded account or whatever that is. And so now they've gone into like researching how to fix this, and like so they're working on it.
Aw, Chunk of Bacon, you look good and gray, baby. You look good and gray. We still love you in gray. But
you're here, and that's what counts.
Yes, that's all that matters.
All right, said I'm a YouTube enigma.
Oh,
hey Brandi, I know you're about to want to sign off. Can I ask you just to entertain folks for just a second?
Yeah, you want me to sing?
This? Yes.
You want me to sing?
And I will be right back. Sing it.
What song am I singing? I don't want to sing the Thami lullaby because I'll put y'all to sleep. What can we sing? Oh, hey, do you want weird admissions in alphabetical order? Yes. I feel like some of the ones we got today were really entertaining. Why do I feel like Steve would have one that's like gonna beat all of us? Why do I feel like his would put coleslaw wrestling at a biker bar to shame? Oh, so funny. Oh, Patty Pooh, happy birthday. Happy 40th to you. And is Llama here? I looked for Llama earlier and did not see. It's Llama's birthday too. Patty Pooh, happy birthday. It's Patty Pooh's birthday. And I was looking, Llama's not here. I looked for Llama earlier today.
Llama is having her birthday party.
I did because
she might be in a little later.
I was looking earlier today too because it's Llama's birthday too. Llama and Patty Pooh both celebrating.
It's Llama, Patty, Elizabeth. Hold on, Julie was this weekend, and then Lisa Wilmot is today.
Oh, I thought
by
hers was
today
tomorrow.
I mean her today. Well, she's in her today.
She's okay. Matrix stuff. Okay.
Yes, Matrix.
Happy birthday, Lisa Wilmot too.
Caught him.
I was about to do my sound effects, and then I remembered I'm not sharing my screen, so I can't do my sound effects. There you go.
This is my 80s music man lurk music. Oh man.
Oh goodness gracious. What crazy thing have I done?
Made a chart for Alec Murdoch.
Made a chart for Alec Murdoch, and all of a sudden am here.
How dare you actually research stuff?
God forbid. And people didn't come here to research. That's not what the internets are for.
They came here just to listen to it.
They came here to argue with it. That's what they came to do. Twitter, what's that saying that Twitter is where people who don't read books go to argue with the people who write them? That's Like, hey, I don't know nothing about nothing. Let me tell you why you're wrong.
I don't know how long Twitter's going to be there. He's thinking about charging everybody. So,
Oh yeah,
that'll be fun.
Look, I paid for my thing because I can't be held to, like, with the extra information that I have to tweet and stuff. I'm like, y'all, it is too much effort for me to do like multiple threads when I have to like put out like, news stuff, whatever. So I'm like, I will pay my little $7, whatever it is, because I can't, it's worth it. That's one cup of coffee. And I'm like, for me, it's worth one cup of coffee to not have to do multiple tweets when I do that stuff. So for me, it's worth it. But, oh, yes, Advocate. Yes. Did y'all talk about this? I'm thrilled and awaiting Barry's arrest. We're going to talk about this tomorrow too. And Advocate, you know so much about it. You should come on tomorrow if you want to. I can have you come. You know so much about it. You can kind of fill everybody in on the stuff. That's one of the things we're going to talk about during Verdict Watch tomorrow too. So.
Hold on. I'm not. Wait, what? When Llama's here.
Oh. Llama.
Here. She's stuck in.
Llama's sneaking around like 80s music man.
For real. Well, happy birthday, Llama.
Happy
I sang
birthday!
to you. And also, Elbow Feet's here. What's up, Elbow?
Hello.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Advocate said sure, she could do that.
Okay, cool. Good. I'll text you.
And Lisa's here too.
Happy birthday. I'm in your tomorrow.
And
also,
no! Okay.
I'm in your yesterday and you're in my tomorrow. But happy birthday.
Tell me tomorrow is better than yesterday.
Matrix stuff.
Matrix.
All right. I have to get some work done. I am so behind because of CrimeCon, which, by the way, was incredible.
It looked great.
It was incredible. And I'm already looking forward to the one in Nashville. So it was.
Yes, and I'm hoping to go as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. I met so many incredible people, and it was I am so that Carrie is the one that taught me into going, because I was like, no, I don't, and she was like, no, you absolutely need to go. And it was awesome. I'm glad I went.
If we get enough people going to CrimeCon, we're gonna do a meetup.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, and Allie B in Tennessee lives in Nashville. What? Okay, and I got my mom's side of the family's from Nashville, so I think I'm probably going to go up a little bit early and see some of them too. So, yeah. But I'm definitely going. Cool. Anybody who wants to come, wants to go, whatever, you can do. You don't have to do the whole weekend. They do day passes and everything. So even if you just come for one of the days, like it is such a great time, and just to be around so many people who, like the Gabby Petito Foundation. I got my bracelet that they gave me. TJ and Stephanie gave me. Gabby Petito Foundation. Like, well, I mean, there's too many to mention. It, like the awareness for for missing people and making the best of these terrible situations, and having victims' families be there and come together as to be around people who understood. Could you imagine what it's like to not have anybody around you who understands what you're going through? And now all of a sudden they're in all in this situation together where they're like, I understand your pain. Like, I feel this, and working together to figure out how to use these terrible, things that have happened to help other people going through it and raise awareness. And Court TV, one of the biggest things that came from this is Court TV doesn't really do a lot on missing people, but because of this weekend, I was talking to Stephanie and TJ, to Gabby Petito's family. I was talking to Gabby Petito's family. Mm-hmm. And they were saying that their conversation with the people at Court TV brought this kind of light bulb awareness to Court TV. Like, hey, we could use our ginormous platform to help advocate for missing people. How freaking amazing is that? So think about how many more eyeballs can now be on some of these missing people, that that's more chance for people to come home. So I get chills saying that. It was such a great weekend, meeting people who truly care about what we're doing. This is not just entertainment. Yeah, some of it's entertaining because look, criminals are idiots. Criminals are idiots. Lawyers can be idiots. We can all be idiots. Like, I mean, so you got to laugh at the ridiculous. So some of it is entertaining, but this is not an entertainment thing. This is not an entertainment business. This is, there are going to be John Thomases in the world that we can, that we can make fun of. And Lord knows we get our laughs out of that. But our main goal is to focus on facts when it comes to stuff, so we know who's the bad guys, who's not the bad guys, who's, whatever. And then to advocate for victims. And I think that it was such a great situation because of that. So I love it. I love it. I'm excited about it. You can tell I'm passionate about it when I talk. Like I get really excited about all the good stuff that can come from people just working together for the same, the same goals and all that. So.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'm hoping that I can make it. I'm hoping that I can see that firsthand.
We have to try. You got to be there. What did I think of Joel and Carm from STS Nation? They are incredible. I got to spend more time with Joel than I did with Carm. I only got to meet Carm one time, but she was a trip. She's so funny. She is a firecracker. She's so funny. And Joel was fantastic. I mean, everybody that I met was just incredible. And facts and victims are our focus. Always, always, always. It was an incredible experience. And I met some lifelong friends. So
that's a good idea.
I would love that. Yeah. I actually have, that's one of the things that I have on my schedule to work on this weekend. I got a bunch of flyers from the missing people, and I have been talking to someone else I met there about different ways to try to come up with something to get it out there. Whether we were talking about maybe doing like YouTube shorts or whatever they're called, like just something that's like, that is easy to just share and blast out everywhere, and trying to get more. So I literally have a stack of different things, and I connected with a bunch of people that I had not connected with yet. So I'm excited to try to do some good in the world. So could y'all add a section on Discord for missing people? I don't know anything about Discord, but if that's a possibility, I would love to do it. I don't know.
I can talk to our mods about it for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That would be.
I mean, awesome. That's kind of what we want to do, right? We want to bring awareness. We want to raise funds if we can, when we can. I mean, that's obviously not all the time. We don't want to put you guys out intensely, but we do want to do some good things with this platform. So we've got it now.
Yes. All right, y'all. I love you so much. I am about to. It's already almost 9:00 where I'm at. I'm about to get started on the podcast and see how much I can get done before I absolutely pass out from exhaustion. But I love y'all so much. Y'all have made my day. I saw your intro right before I came on. I saw the intro. I had it paused because I was on the phone for a little bit, but I watched it, and I appreciate that so much, JT. I truly do. And just the support from y'all. Not everybody is going to have the kind of heart that, that our people do. And I don't want, and we had some people who were, obviously very angry because that's a crappy thing to do, but I don't want to go after anybody else. I just want us to send good thoughts their way, because people need love the most when they don't deserve it. And we are better than that. So, but I appreciate y'all.
Oh man, that was well said.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Steve. 10K. We're just trying to be like you when we grow up, Steve. We're trying to be like you.
Right.
We finally got to 10K. Yay.
We got to 10K and then we blasted forward to 10.2.
I know. We're just moving right along. I think we're going to, did you check your calendar for the 10K for?
Yeah, I think I should be good. I think I'm clear.
October 8th. I think we're going to try to do like a Sunday evening stream on October 8th for the 10K stuff. So, oh, thank you. Love
Thanks,
y'all both.
Diana.
Happy birthday. Yes. All right, y'all. I love you so much.
Thanks for coming.
I love you so much. Y'all are the absolute best. I will see y'all bright and early. We have 2 verdict watches going on tomorrow. 1 brow for each verdict watch. So when we get one, I gotta wash one. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's too much trouble. But we have 2 verdict watches tomorrow. So we got a busy day ahead. And then advocate, I will message you. I would love for you to come talk about finding, because I know that this has been one that you've been super involved with and stuff. And then I want to have like a whole little conversation about that tomorrow while we're waiting to, and kind of talk about that. And we're going to talk about Oakley, and I need to message Kat too. But anyway, all right, I love y'all so much. I will see you in the morning.
Bye. Oh man, I'm glad she came on. Let's do a little interlude. So here's a little bit about Tennessee v. Joel Guy Jr. I'm so sorry if you guys did not come here to read. I don't blame you. I don't either. So, that being said, let's hope that nope, sure isn't. Would have been nice if the logo was right in the right spot, but I'll fix that in just a moment. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? This first video is opening statements.
Ray Christie. All right, welcome back, everyone. All of our jurors are here and ready to go. I want to explain our protocols and why space in the courtroom is so limited due to the COVID virus. The Supreme Court has asked that all local courts follow certain guidelines, including social distancing and masks. That's why everybody has to wear a mask. Once the trial begins with testimony, we're going to move the plexiglass to the witness stand, and I'll put my mask on, and that'll allow the jurors to take their mask off if they're behind here. Here's the thing, folks. I'm trying a double homicide case. I cannot worry about social distancing. So you're all adults. Y'all know who lives in the same households and who's hanging out together. I can't focus on that. I just ask that you honor the Tennessee Supreme Court wishes, which are also my orders now as well too. And so we're making as much space as we can for the public. There has been some concern about public access and limited space in the courtroom. I think that's being accomplished through media coverage. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the protocols. Just make sure you're following those. I can't really focus on policing them. All right, gentlemen, you ready to bring our jury in? Yes. You ready, Mr. Halstead? Yes. All right, go ahead and bring them in. Yeah, tell them to go ahead and remain standing this time. Folks, whenever the jury comes in or out, just go ahead and stand. It'll take us a minute to get them down here. They're at the far end of the hall, socially distanced from our other jury.
Hold on. I want to make sure that this is not messing up my audio. One second. Sorry, everybody. Actually, you might have heard it and I didn't, to be honest with you. Let's see. All right, can you all hear something? Is it just me that can't hear it? You heard the judge, and then all of a sudden it stopped. All right, hold on. Let me just... All of a sudden... What is going on? Sorry, everybody. 1 second.
Our alternate jurors. So thank you again for being here, folks. If you're going to use power.
All right, there we go. Audio. What are you doing? There's still no sound? Ugh.
Again, for being here, folks. If you're going to use power tools, just be careful and again, continue to socially distance from everybody.
How about now?
This is not a good week for you to go out and socialize a lot. I want to make sure we keep you all folks safe and healthy. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is have my court officers take their oath. So listen to this oath, and I'm going to tell you what they're doing in just a minute. Officers.
Sorry, everybody.
I swear to take charge of this jury, keep them separate and apart from all persons, not converse with them about the matters on trial, nor permit anyone else to do so, and return them again in open court on orders of the court. So help you God.
All right, folks. Those folks that just took the oath, they're your court officers. Their primary job is to keep you folks taken care of, keep you separate and apart from anyone else. That means they can't let anybody talk to you about this case. If you have any cares or concerns during the course of this trial, they are the right people to go to. This is Officer Shaver right here and Officer Coker in uniform. Over here we have Officer Kerr in uniform, and back here's Officer Thompson. Now, they cannot talk to you about this case, but if you have a question like what's for lunch or when are we going back in there, you can certainly talk to them about those issues, and they can answer those questions. If you have a concern about the case, anything that's going on during the trial, you can relay those to them, but they'll have to bring that to me to address if I can. But they're the folks to go to if you have any concerns whatsoever. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is read to you some preliminary instructions. These instructions are designed to give you an idea of the outline that our trial will follow, as well as an idea of what your job as a juror will be and what my job as the judge will be. So please listen closely as I go through these instructions. It takes me about 10 minutes. The defendant has been charged by the state of Tennessee with a violation of state law. The document containing the charge is referred to as the indictment. The indictment is a formal written accusation against the defendant, but does not create any inference of guilt. The defendant is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of felony first-degree murder, and I'll explain to you the difference in those before you begin deliberations, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. The elements of each of those offenses will be defined for you in my written jury instructions that you will receive before you begin deliberations in this case. The defendant is presumed innocent and may not be found guilty by you unless, after hearing all the evidence in the case, the attorney's arguments and instructions of law, the 12 jurors seated in this case unanimously find that the state has proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof remains with the state throughout the trial of the case. The first step in the trial will be the attorney's opening statements. The state will tell you about the evidence it intends to present so that you have an idea what the state's case is about. This opening statement is not evidence. Its only purpose is to help you to understand what the evidence will be and what the state will attempt to prove. After the state's opening statement, an attorney for the defendant may make an opening statement if they should so choose. They do not have to make an opening statement because the defendant has no burden of proof in this case. If they do make an opening statement, I remind you that statements of attorneys are not evidence. Next will be the state's case in chief, in which the state will present its evidence. The witnesses will be testifying based upon questions asked by the attorneys. The questions asked by the attorneys are not evidence. Only the responses of the attorneys are considered evidence. And of course, that's in the context of the question that was asked. For instance, if the attorney says the shirt was red, wasn't it? And the witness simply says yes, then you may take that to mean the testimony is that the shirt was in fact red. After the state completes its case in chief, the defense will be given an opportunity to present the evidence, through witnesses and exhibits. A defendant is not required to put on any evidence or to testify. The burden is always on the state to convince you beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant is guilty. If the defense does present proof, the state may then put on what is known as rebuttal proof. And after you hear the state's rebuttal proof, the defense may put on further proof. Once you have heard all the evidence in the case, the parties may present final or closing arguments. Again, closing arguments are not evidence. In closing arguments, the parties will attempt to summarize their cases and help you understand the evidence that was presented and what inferences they wish to draw from that evidence. The final part of the trial occurs when I instruct you on the rules of law that you are to use in reaching your verdict. At that point, I'll excuse the alternate jurors if we still have any left, and the final 12 jurors will leave the courtroom together as a group. You will then begin your deliberations to make a decision in the case. Your deliberations will be secret, and you will not be required to explain your verdict to anyone. So now that I've described the trial itself in outline form, let me explain the function that you and I perform during the trial. I will decide which rules of law apply to the case, and my decision will be reflected in my responses to questions and objections the attorneys raise, as well as in my final written jury instructions. It is your job to determine what the facts are from the evidence. You must then apply the law in my instructions to those facts, and from that application, you will arrive at a verdict. The state has a burden of proving the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt, and this burden never shifts, but remains on the state throughout the entire case. The defendant is not required to prove his innocence. You as jurors must decide whether the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant has committed the crime charged in the indictment. You must base that decision only on the evidence in the case and my instructions about the law. An important part of your job will be making judgments about the testimony of the witnesses who testify. You should decide whether you believe what each person says and the importance of his or her testimony. There is no specific set of guidelines on what you should consider in making that decision. I suggest use common sense first and foremost. The court will not provide you with a transcript of the testimony at the end of the trial. Therefore, you must listen very carefully to the testimony of the witnesses. Each of you will be allowed to take notes during the trial for your own use during deliberations. You are not required to take notes. Independent, need a break, I will take a break whenever you folks need to. If we took a break 5 minutes ago and you want another break, we will take another break. We'll take as many as you folks want. So please don't hesitate to ask for that. You are in control of that as much as possible. All right. That being said, we're going to publish the indictment to you. And so General Sanchez, if you'd please publish the indictment.
State of Tennessee, County of Knox, Criminal Court for Knox County, Tennessee. The grand jurors for the state of Tennessee, upon their oaths, present that Joel Michael Guy, heretofore to wit, on or about the blank day in November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully, intentionally, and with premeditation kill Joel Guy Sr. in violation of TCA 39-13-202 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Second count, and the grand jurors aforesaid, upon their oaths aforesaid, do further present that Joe Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully, intentionally, and with premeditation kill Lisa Guy in violation of TCA 3913-202 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Third count, the grand jurors aforesaid, upon their oaths aforesaid, do further present that Joe Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully kill Lisa Guy during the perpetration of first-degree murder in violation of TCA 3913-202 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Fourth count, and the grand jurors aforesaid,
This is
upon
the
their oaths
indictment
aforesaid,
being read.
do further present that Joe Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully kill Joel Guy Sr. during the perpetration of theft in violation of TCA 3913-202 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Fifth count, and the grand jurors aforesaid, upon their oaths aforesaid, do further present that Joel Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully kill Lisa Guy during the perpetration of theft in violation of TCA 3913-202 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Sixth count, and the grand jurors aforesaid, upon their oaths aforesaid, do further present that Joe Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully, knowingly, and without legal privilege, physically mistreat the corpse of Joe Guy Sr. in a manner offensive to the sensibilities of an ordinary person in violation of TCA 3917-312 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Seventh count, and the grand jurors aforesaid, upon their oaths aforesaid, do further present that Joe Michael Guy, heretofore, to wit, on or about the blank day of November 2016, in the state and county aforesaid, did unlawfully, knowingly, and without legal privilege, physically mistreat the corpse of Lisa Guy in a manner offensive to the sensibilities of an ordinary person in violation of TCA 3917-312 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed, Sean P. Allen, District Attorney General.
Thank you, Joseph. Mr. Halstead, how does Mr. Guy plead to these allegations?
Not guilty.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, you're excused. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a rule sequestration of witnesses requested.
Yeah.
All right, if there are any witnesses involved in this case in the courtroom, Mr. McCord, your designated representative detective, you may remain in the courtroom. Any other witnesses, you must be excused at this point. You may not discuss your testimony with any other witnesses. Oh, and family members as well, too. So nobody should talk about any testimony that you hear during the course of this trial. And also, I would instruct you, you cannot watch any live streaming. If there's any live streaming from media on this, those witnesses are prohibited from doing that as well, too. All right, it is time for opening statements. Generally, may begin your opening statement.
I would like to clarify that the family can remain.
There are any family members remaining who...
No, they're all.
They may remain under the article Victims Rights Act. I can't remember what it is.
They're asking.
All right, John, you may begin your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Ladies and
The
gentlemen,
Victims' Rights Act.
thank you very
I
much
don't know.
for your time and attention this week. I want to thank you in advance. We expect to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that on November the 26th of 2016, Joel Michael Guy Sr. was viciously attacked in his home in the exercise room that he had upstairs. During this assault, he sustained 42 sharp force injuries. You're going to hear proof from the medical examiner and from a forensic anthropologist about these injuries. And what you're going to hear is that these injuries were so severe that marks were left on his ribs, 12 of his ribs, marks ranging from scratches to complete severing. The medical examiner is going to tell you that the cause of his death was multiple sharp force injuries that caused damage to his lungs, to his liver, and to his kidneys. He sustained a wound to his scapula, which is where your shoulder is, And it was such a severe wound that a fragment from a blunt force instrument was left in the muscular tissue next to the bone. He sustained abdominal wounds. So he was attacked from the front as well as the back. You're going to hear testimony that most of the stab.
I'm not quite sure what's going on with my.
Blood staining evidence in this exercise room that indicated that there was a fierce struggle. In one corner of the room, there is blood evidence to show that there was thrashing motion. And it left not only blood marks, but white marks and droplets on 2 walls of the room, and extensive blood staining on the carpet.
That would be their
You
microphone.
will hear that he sustained defensive injuries on both of his hands, which indicate that he was fighting. He fought for his life, and his hands were sliced. And you're going to see photographs and hear testimony about the nature and the extent of these injuries. After he was murdered, the killer disrobed him, meticulously took off his clothes, his shoes, his pants, his shirt and jacket, and left them in a heap on the carpet. He left Joel Sr.'s cigarettes on top of the pile. They were blood-stained. He left his hands in the room. At some point, Lisa Guy came home, and she too was subjected to a violent assault. And you're going to hear testimony and see proof of her injuries. She was stabbed 31 times, and she sustained serious injuries to her ribs. She had 21 rib injuries. 21. 9 of her ribs were severed. And you will hear a forensic anthropologist talk to you about the variation of the injuries to her ribs, indicating not just slice marks, scratches, severing, but also evidence that the sharp instrument used to stab her twisted into the cartilage of her ribs. She had 1 rib that was fractured from blunt force trauma, not sharp force, but blunt force, indicating that there was pressure applied to her ribs. And you will hear that most of these injuries occurred to her back. She had 1 injury to her clavicle and a stab wound, and she had several stab wounds to her buttock. You will hear testimony that there was evidence in the upper hall at the top of the stairwell from the bottom floor to the top floor that indicates that this is where her murder took place. Blood staining on the walls, drip marks, marks that indicate a spray, perhaps. And like Joel Sr., her clothes were removed from her. They were cut off and left in a bloody pile on top of a large blood stain on the carpet. You will hear that the scissors were found there, along with a knife. You will hear that there were also 2 knives left in the exercise room. So at some point after Joel Sr. and Lisa were murdered, the killer went to work on their bodies. Joel Sr.'s arms, both of them, were severed at the joint, the shoulder blade. Both of his legs were removed at the hip. His right foot was removed at the ankle. And as you know, his hands, of course, were also removed at the wrist. Lisa had both of her arms removed from her torso at the shoulder. Both of her legs were cut off below the knee. Her right hand was severed from her arm, and the killer cut off her head. You will hear testimony from a forensic anthropologist who will tell you that her head was basically broken from a part of the spine called the atlas. There was a blunt force trauma applied to her neck before her head was severed from her spine. After the limbs of these people were removed, the killer placed them separately into two 45-gallon blue Sterlite containers. You will hear testimony and see evidence of where that took place. And you will learn that in the master bedroom of their home, plastic sheeting was placed on the floor. And these blue plastic bins were placed on the sheeting. The killer put Lisa's body parts in one, and he put Joel Sr.'s in the other. And then he covered them with a corrosive substance and left them there to liquefy into some sort of diabolical stew of human remains. And then
Are
the
you going to write
killer
that one
took
down, huh?
Lisa's head.
You going to put that in your
carried it
novel, sir?
downstairs and took it into the kitchen. He got out a stock pot, placed her head in the pot, filled it with liquid, carried it over to the stove, covered it, turned on the stove, and left it there to cook. So you will hear some proof from family members about this family. And you're going to hear this photograph was taken on the Thanksgiving day just before their murders, November the 24th. Photograph is taken by Michelle Dennison, Joel Sr.'s daughter.
Okay.
You're going
All
to
right,
hear a little
video.
bit about this family. You're going to hear that Joel and Lisa
Not
were
me.
very happily married. They loved each other. They had been married for 31 years. And the defendant was
Not
their
me.
only child.
Okay, we're done.
But Joel Sr. had been married before, years before, and he had 3 daughters, Candace, and twins, Michelle and Angela. And you're going to hear from each of them a little bit about their family. And you're going to hear that they communicated regularly, and they had a great relationship with their dad and with Lisa, and they were very fond of. Lisa had treated them like they were her own. You're going to hear a little bit about the dynamics of this family, and you're going to hear that on Thanksgiving, Joel and Lisa had arranged to have a family get-together, and Michelle and her boyfriend and her 3 young sons, who are depicted in this photograph, came to spend the day, all that Thursday, came to spend the day with Lisa and Joel. Angela and Candace weren't able to come, so it was just these people, along with the defendant, who came up from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where he lived. He drove up the day before, November the 23rd. You're going to hear that this was going to be, and I'm not being smart aleck, when I say it was going to be their last Thanksgiving in this home that they had on Golden View Lane in Knox County, because they were moving. Joel and Lisa had plans. Joel had worked as a contractor. He designed piping systems. Lisa had a job with Jacobs Engineering. She was a disbursement specialist, and they were done with work. Lisa had turned in her notice. Joel's contract was concluded, and they had decided to retire for a while, and they were moving. Their house was for sale. They had a contract on it, and Joel was going to buy his family home in Surgoinsville, Tennessee, in Upper East Tennessee, near Kingsport. And he had made arrangements with his sister, Robin White, to purchase the home. And this was going to be the last Thanksgiving that the family was going to spend in Knoxville. Their next holiday plans were going to be for Christmas in Surgoinsville. They were ready, to move on and to enjoy what was left of their lives. So I want to give you an idea of kind of a timeline for where we are this weekend. And you're going to see that the defendant came to Knoxville from Baton Rouge on November the 23rd. The family get-together was
You're going to
Thanksgiving
suffer the wrath of
24th.
Gru.
You will hear proof that on November the 25th, Joel and Lisa and the defendant drove up to Surgoinsville to deliver a boat that Joel Sr. had, and he wanted to take it to the Surgoinsville house. You will see and hear evidence that Lisa was alive on November the 26th.
Why?
Sometime after noon. We know that because of
They
evidence
obviously
we have
know
from
the
a
feed's
shopping
busted.
trip that she made in Knoxville. And we know that the defendant was in Knoxville on November the 26th, also because of evidence we have from a receipt where he went shopping at a store, a Walmart store, and was seen there around 3:35. The evidence will show that Joel and Lisa were murdered on Saturday, November the 26th. You will hear proof that the defendant left Knoxville at some point on November the 27th. And you will hear proof that the guys' bodies were found on Monday, November the 28th. So, how did that happen? Jennifer Whitehead is a supervisor at Jacob Engineering. She worked with Lisa. They were work friends. They had a good relationship. And she's going to tell you that the week after Thanksgiving was going to be Lisa's last week of work. She was due to, I'm sorry I keep doing this, but I cannot. I'm having a hard time speaking. She was going to have her last day on Friday of that week, and she didn't show up for work on Monday. Now, this was very unusual. Jennifer's going to tell you that Lisa was quite dependable, and Jennifer was worried about why she didn't show up and why she didn't call, why she didn't text. She became concerned because she started to call her. Some women at work had planned to take Lisa out for lunch that day, kind of a going away luncheon. And this was highly unusual behavior. So Jennifer calls and texts multiple times and with no response. And she became so concerned and had such a weird feeling about it that she called 911 and asked them to send officers out to perform what we call a welfare check. And you're going to have evidence that an officer, Stephen Ballard, did go by the house on Golden View Lane in Knox County, and he went to check things out. He will tell you that, he saw cars in the driveway, really didn't see any signs of disturbance. He didn't look that closely, knocked on the door, I think, nobody answered, and then he left. But Jennifer wasn't satisfied, and she persisted, and she asked the sheriff's department, because this was in the county, to check again. So Detective Jeremy McCord made a trip over there. And he made a number of observations while he was there. He too noted that there were 3 vehicles in the driveway, 2 cars and a truck. He noted the for sale sign in the front yard, and he thought that was kind of significant because he had been looking at houses himself, and he noticed on the front door that there wasn't a realtor lockbox. Typically, you know, that can happen when that will be present when a house is for sale. He went to the front door and knocked and didn't receive an answer. He knocked hard, identified himself as a member of the sheriff's department. He wanted, you know, to let whoever was inside know that he was there to check on their welfare. And when he was at the front door, if you will notice these, he was able to look in and see through the windows that there were groceries that were scattered in the floor of the foyer area.
This is what we read last week.
That concerned him.
A little bit of it.
There were a number of bags left in the floor. So no one responded to the knocks, and he decided to go around back. And when he went around back, he observed that the doorknob from the back door was missing. It's completely gone. And he thought, well, that's strange because the doorknob on the front door had looked sort of weird to him. It didn't look like it fit properly in the front door. There were scratch marks around it. And so he made the conclusion that for some reason, the doorknob from the back door had been removed and placed on the front door. And he just felt like something was wrong. He heard a dog barking inside. And he just kind of became alarmed, and he felt like there was a need for officers to go inside. He even called a realtor to try to figure out what was going on. Those were their cars. The realtor suggested maybe looking inside one of the cars to see if there was a garage door opener that could open the garage door so he could get in. And he made the decision to go in. In law enforcement, this is kind of called exigent circumstances, and it means that there is a fear of an emergency situation that requires police to enter into a residence. And we'll hear from Detective McCord, it's not that unusual. Law enforcement officers all over the country every day respond to welfare check requests. And they find injured people, they find people who are sick, and sometimes they find people who are deceased. And so he was worried and decided that, you know, he needed to check on their welfare. And so he went in. And when he did so, immediately upon opening the garage door, he felt more of what he had felt when he was at the back door. When he was at the back door and looked through the hole that was left from the doorknob, he had felt heat and had detected kind of an odor that concerned him. But when he opened the garage door, there was a blast of heat and an overpowering smell, something strange, something that he had.
Something that drives me crazy about this guy, but it plays into who he is the majority of this time, all the photos that I've ever seen of him, maybe except for 1 or 2, he's got his nose up at everybody as if he is the top person. Like he is better than everybody else. It is fascinating to me. The glare is even worse than he's looking up because it's literally right. He could look straight and be fine. It's just one of those things where it's just literally looking down his nose at everybody else. So.
Not smelled before. And so being alarmed at the unusual nature of this situation, he decided to go in with some trepidation. He was careful. And the way law enforcement officers go into a house under these circumstances, because there may be danger there, who knows what they might encounter, they go from room to room. They announce themselves as law enforcement officers. and they move through the house in what is called a clear. They're clearing it. And he will tell you that they enter through the garage into the kitchen area, and he's going to describe for you the things that he found inside the house that were very unusual to him. I mean, other than the heat, which he will tell you is when they looked at the thermostat, the temperatures were in the high 90s. Okay, I'm not talking about a warm house. I'm talking about a hot house. And I'm talking about an odor that caused officers to have physical reactions to. In the kitchen of the house, he saw things scattered on the floor, and he noticed towels and bottles of bleach and a bottle of muriatic acid and garbage bags. He noticed that the stove was operating and there was a pot on it. He noticed that the oven was on. He noticed that there was a cell phone on the counter, and on the kitchen table, there were 2 wallets that were out, you know, that one looked like it belonged to a female. There was a picture, an ID of a woman on it. The other was brown, looked more masculine. A ball peen hammer and a vice grip, a lady's purse on the table. It looked unusual to him. He kept announcing law enforcement, and he moved through the house. He went into the dining room, and there he saw weapons on the dining room table, boxes of ammunition in the floor. There were tools also on the dining room table, a screwdriver and what appeared to be a lock set, another doorknob lock set. In the foyer, there were multiple bags from a Walmart that had groceries inside them, including perishables, things like ice cream, bacon, and sausage, the sort of things that one would, you would expect that you would put away in the refrigerator as soon as you came home. Some boxes of beer. And as he went through the house in the downstairs, he just became more and more anxious. There was a little study area, a den. The den contained the door that had the missing doorknob. There was animal waste, feces on the carpet, and urine stains. There was a heater that was plugged in and was operating at full blast. And again, he noticed the thermostat set so high. He goes through the downstairs, and as he did so, he starts to feel fear. And I mean, he'll tell you, he's not ashamed to tell you, it was scary. He began to go up the stairwell, and as he was going up the stairs, he noticed that there were blood drip marks on the walls, and there was blood on the carpet. And I mean, at this point, he will tell you he knew that something terrible was wrong. And at the top of the stairs, he sees this pile of clothing, this pile of bloody clothing and bloody scissors and a bloody knife and a big blood pool. And he looks down the hall and he sees a pair of severed hands on the carpet in a room down the hall. And it freaked him out. His fear turned to horror as he continued to go through the upstairs, clearing, the dogs barking on and off. He goes into the master bedroom, and he sees in the floor a weird assorted jumble of articles that don't even appear to be used. There's a bag of clothes, there is a work light, there's a sledgehammer, there's a portable heater that you can clamp on. It clamps on to a surface. There's a face mask that looks sort of like what one would use to do painting, a more protective mask than the one that I'm wearing. There's a blender and a box of latex gloves, a black garbage bag. A roll of plastic sheeting is on the bed, which is made. well, it was made and tidy. And Beanie Babies, pile of Beanie Babies on the carpet next to all of this. And other articles.
I was
not
wondering
sure
what
that I'm
defense was going to use,
remembering
but
all of them.
obviously the Beanie Babies.
Bottles of food grade hydrogen peroxide on jugs, big jugs. A jug of liquid fire, which is the drain opener. Back in the hall next to Lisa's clothing, there were 3 empty big gallon, 5-gallon, I'm not sure how many gallon tubs of something called sewer line cleaner number 2, and an empty bottle of Robic drain opening solution. That was in the hall. So back to the master bedroom. All of these weird, unusual products are here. And the master bath door is open. And of course, he can see what I described to you just a few minutes ago. And it's something he will tell you that he never expected to see. And he can't unsee it. The floor of the master bath coated in plastic, the same plastic sheeting cut from the sheeting that was left on the bed. A garden hose connected to the shower head, a heater running full blast, a knife in the sink, and the remains of what appeared to be human beings. At the time, Detective McCord will tell you he didn't know how many, who they were. He didn't know what he was dealing with. And they continued to clear the house. And in nearly every room in the house, they find evidence. I think there was one room that was used for storage that there was packing. People, you could tell that
I'm going to have to look up what they asked
were
for.
packing, things were boxed up.
But
I
he
don't think
himself
they
asked
recovered
for the death
anything out of
penalty.
that room, but there's a guest bedroom that they went into. And in that room, on the bed, the unmade bed, there was a laptop computer that was plugged in, a used latex glove on the carpet. There was a backpack in a corner. There was a
That's a
bloody
YouTube thing.
jug of the same food grade hydrogen
That goes
peroxide on
beyond
the
us.
dresser, along with a box of latex gloves, some credit cards that appeared to be issued to Joel Sr. Other articles, blood staining on the carpet and a blood stain on the sheet, I think.
I think.
There's a bathroom upstairs in the hall, sort of a guest bathroom. But I forgot something important in the guest bedroom. There were 2 blue tote lids that corresponded with the blue plastic bins that were in the master bathroom. The lids, 2 lids for these were found. One propped up next to a suitcase that had some rumpled clothing in it, and also one under the bed. So the tote lids that corresponded to the tubs in the master bath were in the guest bedroom, along with a note that was in the suitcase that mentioned a store, had the address of a business in Louisiana. I love this name, Dan Boudreaux's Ace Hardware in Napoleonville, Louisiana. So that note was in the suitcase in the guest bedroom. So they move on to the guest bath, and it's a mess. There are blood stains everywhere, on the door, on the floor, on the sink and the counter. There's a pile of clothes, like some shorts and a t-shirt and underwear that have some blood staining on them in the floor. Used latex gloves scattered on the countertop, a knife on the counter, bottles of rubbing alcohol, a couple of bottles of those, a couple of bottles of hydrogen peroxide, some medical tape. Looked like someone had treated an injury there. Okay, blood staining everywhere, and some other first aid supplies. And also on the counter there's a Walmart bag that contains a receipt. And that receipt depicts the products that were found in the room. And that receipt depicted a date, November the 26th, 2016. And it depicted a time, 15:35:25, 3:35 p.m. And as if all of those discoveries weren't bad enough, go back downstairs after they've gotten rid of the dog that was locked up in a laundry room in stifling heat. They get someone to take care of the animal, to get it out of the house and to be treated. I don't know, Animal Rescue, the Humane Society. He was animal control, I guess is what it's called. But they go back down to the kitchen and they open the lid on the pot on the stove and they discover a human head. And they will later learn that that's Lisa Guy's head cooking. Still simmering. The stove was still on. So Detective McCord and the other officers there, they realize this is a monstrous crime, okay? They're feeling some sense of urgency now to figure out who did this. And they have to take steps to figure out how in the world, what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this? So they do what investigators do, and they interview people. They do a neighborhood canvass. They talk to people in the neighborhood to try to figure out when the guys were last seen, who may have been at the house. They notify next of kin. They discover from Michelle Dennison that she was just there, that she was there on Thanksgiving, that her half-brother, Joel Jr., Joel Michael, they call him, was there. He gets a description of vehicles. He gets on that receipt from Walmart. And when he goes to Walmart to check this out, he's able to talk to someone there who is kind enough to cooperate, and they give him video. They maintain security footage at the stores because of shoplifters and for business purposes. And so Detective McCord is able to that very day, the 28th, get a video image and a still shot of the person who made that purchase. And he is able to have that person who's depicted in that image identified as Joel and Lisa's only son, Joel Michael Guy, the defendant. And they get an arrest warrant based upon this information and other information. One of the things that greatly concerned them is that in this image that they saw at Walmart, the defendant is his hand is bandaged, okay, and he's buying medical supplies, and he's not there. And they've received information that he has gone back to Louisiana, back to Baton Rouge on November the 27th. And so based upon that and other evidence, they get an arrest warrant, and they enlist the assistance of law enforcement officers from the Louisiana State Police, the FBI, and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. And all of these agencies work together, and the defendant is arrested, I believe, on November the 29th of 2016. And you will hear testimony from people who saw him there, who will tell you that his hands were sliced. He had a couple of cut marks on his hands. So you will hear that all of the evidence in this case,
I like how she's just like check,
we
check,
submit
check,
to you
check.
points to the defendant as the killer of his parents. And one of the things that we consider in this calculation is, the times of death. The medical examiner and Dr. Marks, the forensic anthropologist, can't tell you how long Joel and Lisa were in those, how long their body parts were liquefying in those tubs. They can't make that determination. But we do know certain things. We know from receipts found in Lisa's belongings where she was on November the 26th, and that she was alive at some point. And we know that from a receipt found in her purse at the scene that she was at this Walmart in Turkey Creek at 12:18 in the afternoon, making the purchases
bugging out
of the items that were found in the foyer. Okay, the receipt, they were able to match up the items listed on the receipt with things that were in the foyer floor. We know that before that, she had gone to PetSmart in Turkey Creek in the same little shopping center to get, dog food for her dog. And this is a map, an aerial map. You'll see right up there in that corner. That's Golden View Lane, that little red circle. That's how close they live to
this.
This is the Turkey Creek
Why
shopping
are they even
center.
trying?
Here's the PetSmart.
Cut away from it.
And here is the Walmart.
Close your
You can
eyes.
see she's not that far from the shopping center. She didn't live that far. And I don't know what the
Close thine
traffic was
eyes.
like
Okay.
on that
You can open
on
them
that date.
again.
But
By the way, if anybody, when that happens, number one, I can't control it, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, they fix that for like the following days. But if that happens, if you have any epileptic connection to that, I'm very sensitive to that because my brother-in-law has it. So please look away, close your eyes. I will let you know. I'll let you know when we get back and it stops blinking. Okay. If I forget, somebody just like digitally slap me. But yeah, so please, I will let you know when we will come back and it'll be just a regular image. So I'm sorry about this. I didn't see this in my preview. So
we can assume that at some point she made it home. And we know she made it home because her car was found in the driveway and the groceries were in the foyer. And you will hear from her daughters that that's not usually how Lisa got into the house. Usually she would come through the garage that they sort of used as a sitting room. They were smokers, so they smoked in their garage. And her typical way of getting into the house would be through the garage door and into the kitchen. It's sort of the logical way most of us carry our groceries in, closest to the area where we're going to put them away. But she didn't use the garage entry that day. So we know she got home. We know that her purse was found in the kitchen, her keys, her cell phone was on the kitchen counter. She made it home. So we believe the state will prove that she was murdered between that time that it took her to get home, maybe 12:30 p.m. on the 26th, and before 3:35 p.m. because state will prove to you 3.
clean up your stuff. It's not my service. Video's still going.
And here he is, leaving the store, and you will note
Oh, look away.
this
Hold on.
bandage on his hand.
Hold on.
Here's a close-up of him getting
Close thine eyes.
the self-checkout, getting
All right.
his medical
We're
supplies
good.
for his wounds. So now we know he
And
went
I
back
only
to the
cost
house,
35
right?
cents.
We know he went back to the house because the things that he purchased at Walmart around 3:35 are on the bathroom counter. And I want you to look at these. So here's the receipt again. And here's the bag that the receipt was in. Here's a
Put
knife.
away.
DNA is on part of that knife. There's some hydrogen peroxide. There's some bandages that were recovered. There's some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, Dermaplast, something like that, some kind of first aid spray. And then all of these gloves. This is Joel Sr.'s cell phone. You'll hear from
That's a
Kim
good
Lowe,
idea. Yes.
special agent with the TBI, that the defendant's DNA is found on
I'll just go
6
back
of
and
those
forth.
gloves, inside
That's not a problem.
and out. So, Joel and Lisa Guy
I'll see if I can
were
find a
dead
better
by
stream
3:35 p.m.
version elsewhere.
And
or
we
if this
believe
continues.
the proof will show that after the defendant tended his injuries, he went to work on their bodies and did what he did to them. The forensic anthropologist has a nice name for what he did. It's called disarticulation. It's an elegant name for cutting off their arms and legs and Lisa's head. So,
I love how Jody's was so much cleaner. Gotten sloppy.
planned in advance. He premeditated. He made, after the exercise of reflection and judgment, made the decision to murder his parents. So in the guest bedroom, where you will hear, Michelle Dennison will tell you that that's where the defendant was staying on Thanksgiving. You're going to see that there's a backpack found in the corner of the room. And it was taken into evidence and later inventoried per the policy of the sheriff's office. That's what they have to do when they seize evidence, something like that. They inventory the contents of it. And here it is. And they opened it, of course, and they found instruction manual for residential hot water heater. They found some books, and they found a notebook. And in the notebook, there was a writing. And I want to go through it with you a little bit because it's kind of hard to see like this. But we'll start from the first line. All get killing knives. Quiet.
Use
Multiple.
it to get him.
Get carving knives to make small pieces.
All right, one second, everybody. Let me try this instead.
In the guest bedroom, where you will hear, Michelle Dennison will tell you that that's where the defendant was staying on Thanksgiving. You're going to see that there's a backpack found in the corner.
There we go.
And it was taken into evidence and later inventoried per the policy of the
Sounds
sheriff's
better.
office. That's what they have to do when they seize evidence, something like that. They inventory the contents of it. And here it is. And they opened it, of course, and they found instruction manual for residential hot water heater. They found some books, and they found a notebook. And in the notebook, there was a writing. And I want to go through it with you a little bit because it's kind of hard to see like this, but we'll start from the first line. Get killing knives. Quiet, multiple. Get carving knives to make small pieces. Get sledgehammer, crush bones. And of course, there were multiple knives found at the scene. You will hear there was a knife in the guest bathroom, a knife in the sink in the master bathroom. There were 2 knives next to the pile of bloody clothes that belonged to Joel Guy in the exercise room. And then there was a bloody knife next to Lisa Guy's cut up clothing. There is no evidence that he used the knives to make small pieces other than the hands and head, or that he used the sledgehammer to crush bones. You will not hear evidence of that. Bring blender and food grinder, grind meat. Well, we will not show you that he did grind any meat, but we will show you that he brought a blender and that in his vehicle that was searched after his arrest in Baton Rouge, he did have a food processor in the trunk. Get bleach, denature proteins.
I won't lie. This is a tad ironic. Future is 15 minutes behind. Excellent. Yes, Smithers.
Well, there was bleach, several tubs of bleach in the kitchen. Get plastic bin for denaturation process. And I guess that's that means for dissolving your parents.
Just locked in
Does
his
not matter
hair.
where they're
Har.
killed. Just get
I
rid
like
of
it.
bloody spots to prevent evidence of time of death, not the mattress or couches.
Future,
Get rid
when you
of
get this,
bodies inside the house, there and my
You're the
DNA
best.
already there. Because of course he had been visiting, so his DNA would be in the house necessarily. I guess that's what that means.
6 years of German.
He needs to be, I can't read that word.
And
Not
this is the only time I've ever used it.
Flush chunks down toilet, not garbage disposal. No evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that he did that.
Welcome to the party, pal.
But the next line, get plastic sheeting for disposal process. There is evidence that there was plastic sheeting at the scene on the bed where Joel and Lisa Guy slept. Get hollow point bullets just in case. Will be seen buying bullets. Just use computer room gun. Check to make sure there are bullets. Last resort. There were no gunshot wounds to the victims. He's not alive to claim her half of the insurance money. All mine. $500,000. You will hear evidence through Jennifer Whited and through documents from Jacob Engineering that Lisa Guy did have an insurance policy. She was going to be employed until the following Friday after Thanksgiving. And you will see that he was a beneficiary, in fact, to this life insurance policy. Flood the house. Covers up forensic evidence. No evidence that he flooded the house. Turn heater up as high as it goes. Speeds decomposition. Again, thermostats were in the 90s, both upstairs and downstairs. Bleach reacts with luminol, just like blood. Douse area with bleach. Big sprayer. There was a big sprayer.
That's not
in a
everything,
box
but
on the
some of it.
kitchen floor. I don't know that it had been opened, and I can't tell you that the state will prove that there was evidence that he doused the area with bleach. But there was lye, and he mentioned, it says trash compactor, ? The next line is body gives time of death, alibi. Don't have to get rid of body if there's no forensic evidence on the body. His fingerprints and DNA. And that brings us to the severed hands. The severed hands. We believe the state will prove to you that the hands were severed for a purpose. Okay? For a purpose. There's a reason behind it. Minimize, and we're on to the second page of the notebook. Minimize things I touch throughout the visit. Wear gloves and socks to prevent fingerprints and footprints. And as I said, you will see photographic evidence that there were gloves, latex gloves, found throughout the house, boxes of them, in his bedroom, in the bedroom that he was using in the house, in the master bedroom, in the kitchen, in the guest bath. Drop something down the garbage disposal to break it. Get him on the ground, fixing it. Kill him with the knife. Clean up mess from him before she gets home. Kill her with knife. Kill the dog after, and that's marked out, and above it, leave him alive, fingerprints. Take dog with you. I don't know what this says. First word I don't understand. Him with him.
He doesn't either.
All I can read. The next
He's
line
so
is
confused.
place her in shower, turn on hot water, and point at her to get rid of forensics. Remove
Assemble
her
the
clothes
minions!
and take them with me for disposal. And you know her clothes were removed. Place him in plastic bin and use it to get him into the upstairs bathroom. Well, Mr. Guy's remains were certainly found in a plastic bin in the upstairs bathroom. Cut off his arm and plant his flesh under her fingernails. And I will remind you that Lisa Guy's right hand was severed from her arm. Place her hand with his DNA so that his DNA is not washed away by shower. Use sodium hydroxide. You'll hear evidence that the sewer line cleaner and other products, that's sodium hydroxide. Use sodium hydroxide to destroy his soft tissue and his softened bones for transport. Baste once every hour to accelerate. Flush sodium hydroxide down the toilet. Wash out bin with handheld shower head and then direct handheld into toilet to flush everything out of the pipes and into the public waterway. Douse killing rooms, kitchen, ? With bleach. Place hair curler with flammable paper and flammable containers of gasoline in 4 locations. His killing room, her killing room, his bathroom, her bathroom. Wipe down areas near killing rooms and bathrooms. Turn heaters up to 90 degrees to melt fingerprints and dry everything. Set her phone to send me a text message late
Not
Sunday to
perfect
prove
enough.
that I was in Baton Rouge and she was, in quotation marks, alive. Leave through front door and wipe down doorknobs.
Nicht perfekt genug.
Timer for
I don't know if that's
flammables
right.
set for Friday at 10
Probably not.
a.m. Sunlight masks fire, but not smoke. Everyone at work, so they can't report it. This is an enlargement of what is on this page. Ultraviolet light shows fingerprints. Check mail before leaving. To get rid of blood, use peroxide, hemoglobin, and bleach, DNA. Construction of bodies. Composition of body, 20%
He was
fat,
28
20%
He was
protein,
born,
55% water, and 5%
in 1988.
other components. Assets. These pages will show you that the defendant analyzed the financial assets of his parents. Her assets, her life insurance,
Better when his
500,000,
original. Oh, assets.
possibly
Hold on.
more with double indemnity. With him missing, dead, I get the whole
There you go.
thing. All her other assets are joint. Go to him if missing, unknown if he's dead. His assets includes all joint property if missing. When he gets all joint property, also gets joint debt. Knoxville house, homeowner's insurance, possibly, but probably worthless after the fire. Oh, $100,000. Sirgoinsville house, appraised at 400,000 plus, worthless with Renee on the property. You will hear testimony that Renee Charles is Joel Guy Sr.'s sister. His sisters live in the Sirgoinsville area. Her car, his SUV, not paid for. His boat, his old truck, paid for. His 401k, $80,000, possibly less after taxes. He could possibly have savings and or other investment accounts. So we believe that the proof will show you, ladies and gentlemen, that the motive in this case, it's not an element of the crime, but the motive is financial.
He didn't
Money,
think he was going to get caught.
all mine, $500,000.
No need to burn it.
I get the whole thing. There are 2 counts of, well, 3 counts actually of felony murder involving theft, the theft of property, and we expect to provide testimony that certain financial transactions were made with the guy's assets after the time of their deaths on November the 27th. And other articles of theirs were taken, and we believe that proof will show just what was taken from them. You're going to hear from expert witnesses, as I alluded to, or as I said in earlier. You're going to hear from a DNA expert who will talk to you about the DNA evidence found throughout the house. She's going to tell you exactly where she found the defendant's DNA, certainly on the latex gloves, on some of the weapons. And of course, the DNA of Joel and Lisa Guy were found throughout the house and on a lot of the blood evidence. Not all DNA evidence is blood evidence, of course. And she will explain this, Agent Kimlow. Then you will hear about the autopsy of Joel Sr. and the autopsy for Lisa. Dr. Amy Hawes with the Forensic Center in Knox County is our expert witness in that area, and she will testify to you about the cause and manner of death. And you will see photographic evidence, and you'll see diagrams, and she will be able to better explain to you than me what exactly happened to them. And again, you're going to hear from a forensic anthropologist, Dr. Murray Marks, with respect to the injuries to the bones of both Joel and Lisa. Joel was
No, but I think the
identified by
evidence speaks for
fingerprints
her.
because we had his hands, and Lisa was identified by
We're also coming off of Juan.
and Dr. Marks will describe for you and show you images of the damage that was done to their bone structures, and explain the difference between dismemberment and disarticulation. And he will be one of our expert witnesses. You will also hear expert testimony on with respect to fingerprints and electronic devices that were examined by Eddie Wassman with the Sheriff's Office, and Tom Finch, who did the fingerprint evidence. So other than the felony murder counts, the premeditated murder counts, the felony murder counts, Mr. Guy is also charged with 2 counts of abuse of corpse. I don't think we need to belabor that. And you will hear evidence of flight, and the court will give you an instruction on what flight means and how you can judge it with respect to this case. But the evidence we submit to you will show that after killing his parents and dismembering them and trying to destroy evidence of his involvement at this scene, he went back to Louisiana. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that at the end of our proof, at the conclusion of everything, turn it off, you will find Joel Michael Guy Jr. guilty of every count of this indictment, because we will have proven it to you beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you very much for your attention.
Nope.
Thank you, General Nazis. Mr. Halstead, would you like to make an opening statement, sir?
Would you?
I first just wanted to introduce myself. Mr. Stevens did all the work in the jury selection. I am John Halstead. This is Mark Stevens, and we are representing today Mr. Guy. I want to start out by saying thank you for being here. Our criminal justice system is one of probably the best one in the world. And what makes it so great is that we have citizens who are willing to come to court,
I want to thank you for
especially
paying your
during the
taxes.
pandemic, during a time like this, willing to come to court, spend a week listening to the proof and making a decision. And another strong part of our constitutional criminal process is that that decision has to be made beyond a reasonable doubt. And that reasonable doubt can come from witnesses, it can come from physical evidence, it can come from cross-examination. And we just ask you and know that you will listen to everything very closely, listening for the reasonable doubt and making your decision at the end of the case. Again, I want to thank you for being here. This is a difficult time to try a case, difficult time to do anything. And we really need you, and you've come forward, and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, folks. So we are.
I'm gonna bite my pillow. It's what I'm gonna do.
Well, isn't that special?
I can't. What kind of opening was that? I mean, I'm not sad about it, but it's the equivalent of like a middle school no or your mom. Considering he was going for not guilty, I can't. Oh man, no chance. That's what you've got. Also, very true. Very, very true. Defense rests. It's true. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, so we're stopping after opening statements. We start getting into witnesses and family and things like that. So I think now's a good time to stop. I don't want to cut family or those kind of witnesses in half if I don't have to. The other thing is this is a pretty quick trial. It's like 4 days. And I think we needed something that was quicker than Jody. And I'm looking at some other options too. But that being said, can I replay that? I cannot replay that. I mean, I sure can. You want me to play it? You want me to replay it real fast? Sure. I can do it if you want me to.
I am John Halstead. This is Mark Stevens, and we are representing today Mr. Guy. I want to start out by saying thank you for being here. Our criminal justice system is one of probably the best one in the world. And what makes it so great is that we have citizens who are willing to come to court, especially during a pandemic, during a time like this, willing to come to court, spend a week listening to the proof and making a decision. And another strong part of our constitutional criminal process is that that decision has to be made beyond a reasonable doubt. And that reasonable doubt can come from witnesses, it can come from physical evidence, it can come from cross-examination. And we just ask you and know that you will listen to everything very closely, listening for the reasonable doubt and making your decision at the end of the case. Again, I want to thank you for being here. This is a difficult time to try a case, difficult time to do anything. And we really need you, and you've come forward, and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
It was a minute and 15. You guys are right. I mean, what could he do? I mean, what could he do? Right? Bazinga. There's not much to work with. There really isn't. It's wild. I'm glad you had me go back. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to continue on and move on and get into the witnesses and stuff on Friday. We also are going to do our weekly Friday night court trivia, and it is going to be sound effects. So you're going to have to distinguish what the sound effect is. Okay. There's also going to be some bonus questions as well. Now, that might come in the form of pieces of music. That might come in the form of just questions. We'll see. Excuse me. Yes. Mic drop. So yeah. So yeah, Kelly, thank you for reminding me. Hold on. I do. Kelly has an awesome shop. You guys should check it out. 1 second. I am boring. You are correct. You are correct. How did you know? All right. Kelly's got some new things coming out on her store. Our mods will link it in the chat, and I will show you what she's got going on. So there you go. That's just, you guys, it's a lot clearer in real life. Oh, everybody, don't give Adam a hard time. He's kidding. I think. Football and fall, y'all. Happy fall vibes. I kind of like this. Dear Santa, stop judging me. I did not come here to math. Look at that. So you guys check it out. Check it out at Kelly's Corner Shop. It's on Redbubble. We like supporting good people. If you have something to promote, let me know. I'll take a look at it. For those of you who are, I did put a new emoji up, and just as a surprise, it happens to be Gru with the face of Joel, which I actually probably need to make a little bit bigger. See, that's what I thought. See, everything's fine, everybody. Everything's fine. But also I am kind of boring. It's true. But yeah, check that out for sure. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for working through the quiz, the updates, the opening. Here's what I can say about today. And Brandi is right. Those who need the love the most are the ones that don't deserve it. Support Brandi first and foremost, and just let the rest go. We are a community of support, and that's what we do. And that's where we can really shine. So, put in a good word, think about those people who choose to do the things that they do. Extend that branch and support Brandi as best you can. You can send her a message, but you also can send her a letter if you're into that. whatever that might be. She's amazing. She's a powerhouse. And she deserves that support. I know I don't have to say that to you, but go forth with love and support. And on that note, night court's adjourned. I want you guys to take care of yourselves, take care of your friends and your family. Don't forget to smile. As Pantoufle says always, don't let anybody, not anybody, dull your sparkle. And shine on. Shine on, you crazy diamonds. I'll see you guys on Friday. Trivia time!